Hey there, welcome to this week's video. So one of my projects, the fairy house, is going to have a pond on it. And that pond I wanted to have some details and make some cute little creatures. So I've gone ahead and got my polymer clay out and I've made some cute little dragonflies, some water lilies, some lily pads and some caterpillars and even a frog. So come along and let's have a look at how I did it. So let's start with some water lilies, and I've got some old polymer clay here. This one's a pink mixture as well as a green mixture. Now what I'll do is I'll roll them out on setting number 1, and I'm doing it through my pasta machine. It's an old pasta machine, but now it is a great rolling polymer clay machine. Now I've got a little cutter and it is a teardrop shape. It has a spring press thing so that you can actually push it out if it comes up in the barrel. The reason I do this on a tile is a perfect surface that will actually stick to some of the polymer clay as well as come away when you need it. So I highly recommend using this as a polymer clay surface. Now the pink clay I has streaks of purple and gold in it, just so it's not a flat colour, but I'll be able to cut these out as petals and then use green underneath it. Now as you see, as I'm pulling away the clay, the petals, even though they're so tiny, are sticking to the surface. So let's go ahead and fast forward the video. Get ready for the music. Let's do the same for the green clay, a bit thicker on the actual number 2 setting. Once we've got all the cutouts of our green and pink clay, we've got the green base leaves, so we're going to arrange them in a circle and really going to have the pointy bits of the teardrops facing out and the rounded bit in the middle. So I'll probably do 2 layers of the green base leaves, and I'll probably even do 2 layers of the pink petals as well. Alright, back to the music and the fast forwarding. Putting the green leaves together, I noticed that they're a bit thick, so I might put them into the pasta machine just to thin them out a little bit. So to create the flower center of the water lily, I've got some gold, yellow and orange clay. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll it out, then I'm going to use a small circle cutter and I'll just cut out the little circles and then I'll press them into the middle of the lily. So the next step is to combine them all. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab them and fill up the petals a little bit just to make them look a little bit more realistic. So once that's done, they should be nearly ready to bake. So let's have a look before we do of them close up. So here are the water lilies here. They look amazing and they'll really add to the pond feature. Now the next step will just be doing the lily pads, which are very similar to the leaves of the water lilies. I'm just going to roll them out a little bit thicker and then sort of squash them and press them down to make us more of an irregular shape than a leaf. Let's have a look at how I went with that. was all pretty easy to do. I just need to put them aside now and get ready to bake with the water lilies. The next thing I want to do before we start baking is make some little critters, and I'm going to start with dragonflies. Now I've already rolled out some little fluoro green bodies now, and you can't see it very well. There is a rolled out version of translucent polymer clay. So this is where I'm going to use a little bit of it and try and cut some shapes of wings in the shapes of triangles, and then I'll be attaching it to the body. Now the work is too tiny to get on camera properly, but you'll be able to see some of the work, but I'll forward with the bits that you can't really see and let you know how they go at the end. So I've actually skipped ahead and repeated the process a couple of times and done 5 little dragonflies, as you can see, that is above where I'm working. What I'm actually doing now is I've rolled out some green clay and cut it up. I'm going to turn these into little caterpillars. I'm just going to bend the middle of the caterpillar so it looks like it's going to be walking whichever surface I put them on. Now what you can also see up there next to the little dragonflies to the right is a little frog. Now he was very easy to make. All I had to do was ball some dark green clay, then I rolled out some for his legs, got a little bit of a lighter green clay and added that to the back and some eyes, and then I just cut open a little mouth. He's very, very cute, and again you'll see him again later. I'm sort of going to come to the end of the video because it really was so hard to get it when it was so tiny work. But here I am trying to show you my little dragonfly up close, but it was really hard to get him into focus. So then at the end I decided to do a photo shoot of all the critters. So these are my little pond critters that I'm going to have for my fairy house garden pond. And you can see I've got my dragonflies, my caterpillars, my water lilies, my frogs, and even some bees to add later in the garden. Alright, thank you very much for everyone for staying with me for this video. I've learnt a lot about how miniature little critters don't video very well, but we live and we learn. Thanks all.